I don't mean to complain about my wife a bunch. It's just like...
Yeah, here, actually, I do want to also record on these, even though I don't think it's going to matter, but you can hit the record button on that.
Record. And then you have to hold it for a second.
Click it once. It'll turn red.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
It's Roving Slant podcast, everyone.
Yeah.
Gather around the telly.
This is episode 37?
I think so.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I think we're still figuring out, like, the looking thing. Because whenever I'm talking to you, I'm, like, looking at you. And then when I want to engage with our audience, look at those guys.
Yeah, look at them.
Hey.
Look at all of them.
I like you.
I think I see your wife in the crowd.
Oh. Hey.
Yeah, hi, honey.
Anyway, dude. Yeah.
So we can talk about the most immediate thing in that you just watched me, I guess, get a job.
Yeah, you got a job right in front of my eyes.
Yeah. I didn't expect to get a job, but I got a job. I had my landlord come over and, I guess to give the audience the context. My girlfriend Jade has a friend who's going to be opening a business here in this same complex of offices, and he was interested in some of the suites, but we didn't have the keys for the suites to show him, and the realtor has the keys, but he would have to schedule a thing with him, and we didn't want to deal with that yet. He just wanted to look at the room. So I asked the landlord for the keys, got the keys, and then as we were fumbling, because actually there's so many keys and there's an overwhelming amount of them and they're not labeled properly, I told him, like, dude, just pay me and I will organize these keys for you, because this is rough that you have to do this every single time. And he was like, oh yeah, sweet, I'll let you know, I'll give you all the keys, you can just go walk around the buildings, figure it out. And then he also wanted us to do some landscaping because there's some dirt patches that don't have any plants in it, and he doesn't like wood mulch, he likes stone. And so we're like, yeah, I guess we'll become landscapers. And he was like, oh, well, just let me know your rate, let me know your hours, and then you can do that. I'm like, okay, sweet. And so between all these conversations, finally, and this, he was like, you know, the guy that used to manage all this stuff between all the buildings, he's dead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I never got a memo. I had this guy's number. If I needed something, I was going to call him. And you're telling me he just swiftly perished without me knowing? And he's like, so if you want to be that guy, just let me know your hourly, and then you can do it. And he's like, people need these tiles changed. They need lights changed. I was like, I don't know how to change the lights, but I can figure it out. And he was like, yeah, just let me know. And I was like, okay, I guess I got a job then. I'm going to be buildings maintenance for 3 offices now.
There you go.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's going to be maintenance specifically. It sounded more like I was going to talk to people and be the intermediary so that I could call the correct people that needed, you know, the contractors to come get the stuff done. So whatever. I could do whatever I can in the fixing, you know, bit of it. And then the rest of it, I'll just pawn off to other people that know what the hell they're doing, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, now you just got to buy some tiles, and then
I guess I got to get tiles.
You start like replacing them, and just be like, yeah, that tile was $78.
Yeah.
No.
I love that. Yeah. So basically, I'm already here pretty much all the time, anyways. So
yeah.
He was very interested in somebody being like on-site maintenance, basically. So
yeah.
For me to be here and then doing any sort of, you know, intermediary thing, they can just come knock on my door and be like, hello, and I just like walk out with bare feet. I'm like, can I help you?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
The visual guy.
Yeah. We got the camera. I gotta do it. Little gremlin in here. I got the lights off.
Yeah.
I just got a ring of keys.
They knock on the door and you're like on the ground.
They hear like a hiss.
I just need a light replaced.
Yeah, this socket isn't working in my room. I'm like, ugh.
You grab like a little tool belt and like put it on, like.
But it's like not like a modern like bag or anything, like a Milwaukee bag. It's like full leather. I'm
you killed the cow that had the leather.
They like walk outside and they're like, what is he doing over there? I'm like tanning a hide because I like hunted in the forest nearby. I'm like taking stones and carving my like arrowheads. I'm like looking at it and I see them.
Yeah, he's really good at maintenance, though.
Yeah, you know, I've never felt like I was waiting forever to get something done with this guy here. He's a real worker.
He's a real go-getter.
Yeah, I've never seen somebody that go-gets as much as he gets it.
I like the idea of you opening the door and behind you is a drying rack with like meats just hanging.
I have like butchered cows. I got like dry ice underneath them. Oh my god.
So anyway, dude, it's
Like,
been.
what is he cooking in there as a smoker?
You cut a hole through the roof to fit your smoker in.
Yeah, I got this just bent out.
I'm the maintenance guy. I can do it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Rain catchers outside for water.
The sink works fine.
Yeah. Chemical water.
Fluoride make dumb.
Yeah, fluoride make man dumb.
So, but anyway, dude.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
So my buddy Tyler the other day suggested we go to the gym, so I've been going to the gym more.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
he
good.
would he comes in the office and he's like, "Yo, you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah." I actually have kind of a funny short story about it too, because we had done the Stairmaster at the end of one of our sessions, and after doing about 30 to 40 floors of the stories or whatever of Stairmaster, we were like dying, like we were out of breath. We had no capacity to continue on, and our legs were broken. And but the whole time, Tyler had this joke, which is reminiscent of Sam Hyde's joke when he like went to the gym, where Tyler was like, "We gotta save our moms. That's the whole goal. So we're climbing these stairs so we can save our moms."
That's it.
He's like, "We gotta climb the Empire State Building to save our moms. That's the goal." So that's what we're using to motivate us to continue. It's like a sort of gag, basically, and a reference to Sam Hyde. And so afterwards, I went home and I looked up, like, how many floors actually is the Empire State Building? How close were we? Did our moms perish? Did they survive? And so it is actually 102 floors. That is how tall the Empire State Building is. So needless to say, we didn't even save one of our moms.
No.
Combined with our efforts, they perished.
It's over.
So the next time we went, a couple of days later, I was like, we got to do the 102 stories in order to save our moms. And we managed to do it.
Damn.
Yeah, 102 stories for both of us. There were points where Tyler wanted to give up, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Like, especially after you get like 10 to 20 floors in, you're like, dude, I have 80 more to do. It's like overwhelming to comprehend and think about it. But after a certain point, you can just like kind of turn off your brain and
just go
do it. Like a miracle feat, basically. And yeah, we just climbed all 102 floors. I was like, dude, we saved both of our moms this time. I was like, next time we got to be able to bring them down, though.
You got to turn around on the stair stepper and have it go backwards. Yeah, there you go.
I don't think you could do it the other way, but that would be really funny. Because that would literally simulate the going down the stairs sort of thing. But so yeah, I've been working out a little bit more. That's been pretty good.
It's good.
I have money now, I guess. That's kind of cool too. I still got to get my car fixed. I did my book club, which I'll talk about later. That's it. I felt like I was kind of aimless this month. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I got the money at the beginning of the month, and then I've kind of been like figuring out how to spend it, figuring out playing my YouTube videos. So even if my progress isn't as tangible as I would like in the form of like programming my game or actually having all the stuff done, it's still like a start, basically. Yeah. So I feel pretty good. How about you, man?
I've been all right. I've been working. That's about it. Just back to work, really.
Yeah, you were in the last few podcasts. You've been talking, which, you know, by the time they see this, will be 6 up, I think. But no, when you were talking in the last podcast, you really wanted, you know.
Oh yeah, I wanted to start doing something.
Yeah, you wanted to be moving. You wanted to be I mean, you were smoking. You enjoyed doing the smoking stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. I've smoked a few things. Actually, real quick, I smoked pork loin last night. It was really good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We did like Brussels sprouts with it and stuff.
You know, I haven't eaten a lot of Brussels sprouts. Are they good?
They're good. You gotta cook them right. If you char them, that's the best because it makes it like a little sweet and they're like tender. Yeah. So it has a really good texture. So they're pretty good.
Yeah, I've never honestly bought them. We just yesterday, because we're still making food for Jade's grandpa, and he expressed a huge interest in. I made him potatoes once, and he like can't stop talking about it. He's like, "Is Cody gonna make his potatoes?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll make potatoes for you. You got it, dude."
What kind of potatoes?
It's a normal mashed potatoes. Literally, all I do is I cut them up and then I boil them or pressure cook them. I pressure cooked them this time. Yeah. First I make sure to rinse out the starch. And then I pressure cook them. And then I have the water salted a little bit. And then afterwards I add heavy cream and then first butter, let the butter melt, mix it together, then add the heavy cream. I think the order matters. That's why I'm trying to be like specific about it. And then I mash it all together, add more salt, add a little bit of pepper, and then that was basically it. But I hand mash. I don't know if that makes that much of a difference between the blender thing. I don't think it does, but I did.
Yeah, I think you whip them if you use the like blender.
Yeah.
And that makes them airy, which is good for some,
Yeah, but no, he loves them. He's like infatuated with them.
They're just regular potatoes.
And it's really funny because like he has to go to the neurologist in a couple of months because he's been having like short-term memory problems. He was telling us this story about how he goes to the doctors and they do this test in order to test your memory where they give you 3 words at the beginning of your appointment that you need to remember, and then when you get to the doctor asks you to recall the 3 words, and if you couldn't, then that shows you have like some sort of memory issue or whatever. Seems like a stupid test. I
feel like I'd forget.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because of the amount of time it takes between I don't know.
And it's like if I'm talking to my doctor, like, oh yeah, I got this like lump under my arm, I'm more focused on that.
Rather than the 3 arbitrary words. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
So they took that as he has brain problems. So let's say he does have brain problems after his fall because he hit his head, he bled a little bit. There's probably something going on. He's got blood pressure, diabetes problems. There very well could be some sort of brain issue. But still, despite having those brain issues and despite repeating conversations of topics every time that we like go over, some of them are repeated. He remembered those potatoes.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
He fucking knew it. He was like,
the flavor.
You better bring these potatoes.
I need them.
Yeah, so that was pretty great. So I made the potatoes yesterday. He liked them. I gave him obviously a bunch of the leftovers too. So hopefully he'll remember they're in his fridge and eat them. Yeah, I was bringing that up just because of the food thing. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I made pork. They're like thin pork chops. I guess I've never made.
Did you like mash them down and then like fry?
No, they weren't pork bone or whatever. You can just get them thin.
Yeah. They're like cutlets.
Yeah. Cutlets. That's what they're called. Yeah. And then I put a thing on there. It was pretty good. It was like a little dry rub, and then I sauteed them.
That's what if they do. You can make like pork katsu or whatever, Japanese one where they fry it with panko on it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then they put gravy on it. That's pretty good. But you can make the American version where you just don't put the panko on it, but you like.
My Romanian friend Gabe, we're going to do a test because he has this Romanian dish. I forget what the name of it is in their language, but essentially, I just had before the book club we do the liver and onions thing at his house. He picks me up. We go there. And we make liver and onions, and he wanted to mix the liver and onions dish with this other meat dish he does, where they essentially do the panko breadcrumb and then like saute it or whatever. So we're gonna try that with liver. I don't know how good it would be, but it could be good.
Like fried liver.
Well, liver with the egg and the batter, because when Jade's grandpa was talking about how he makes liver, he would roll it in flour and then cook it with like shake and bake or something. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But with panko breadcrumbs, saute, make sure you don't overcook it. I think that could be pretty good.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Liver and onions.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Have you had liver?
I've had liver before, but I never like it was like, oh, try this. It wasn't like have a meal, you know what I mean?
Okay, well, I'll make you liver and onions. We can try that. It's pretty good. Honestly, the liver and onions I made yesterday is probably the best, Sunday is the best liver and onions I've ever made. Yeah. I bought I got a different kind of bacon that was like more smoked than usual and man, it was super good. Yeah, it had like a really intense smoky flavor, and then I put the jalapenos with the liver and onions, so you get like a little bit of heat from it. Then we ate it with broccoli, which kind of cuts through the otherwise like sandy taste
Everything
of the
else.
Liver and onions. Yeah. So it was pretty good.
Let me suggest this. Yeah, what if we combined our powers and we smoked the liver?
We should. I would like to try that. I'm kind of.
I don't even know what that would taste like.
Maybe my whole YouTube channel is just gonna be me doing different things with liver. I'll be the new liver king.
Yeah.
Like somebody that actually eats liver and tries to find the most palatable ways to prepare it for people. Because I honestly do believe, from the things I've read as well, that it has the most nutrients. I mean, it is the literal filter in an animal, all animals, for nutrients.
Yeah.
So and it's cheap. It's very cheap. It was like $2.99 a pound, I think, for normal liver, and then I saw at the deli section too, it was like $9.99 for calf liver. And I was like, bro, I mean,
why not?
Yeah, it's great price. You get a pound of liver. It's like, Jesus.
Why not?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, honestly, after talking about it, I got a maintenance job, Liver King job. Got books. I got a video game I got to keep working on. I got a busy life.
Stuff going on. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Today I'm just. I got no complaints. So what else? So you've been working basically, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, but it's AIDS. So basically, AIDS. Yeah. Okay. I'm bringing it back. Yeah. I think I said that a long time ago, and now I'm regressing as a person.
To the 90s.
Yeah. But basically, so the job is right now. There's nothing for me to do on this job. So I show up and I sit in their office and I try to pretend like I'm doing something, but I can't do it. I literally I've like sat there and scrolled up and down on my computer as long as I possibly could. All right, but basically they have the machine being built. All right, and it's like just waiting for power to turn on, and then I'm in there. I already have all the programs ready. Gonna dump them in there. Got to like touch some stuff up, fix some stuff, and it'll be exciting. It'll be great. But they haven't done that. They called me in like 2 weeks early. So I've just been sitting in this office. I like go home at noon, and I asked them like, "Are you fine with me like punching out at home?" They're like, "Yeah, if there's nothing going on, just go home." So like during lunch, I just go home, and then I like sit down on my computer. Like I got 3 hours. Sometimes I've gone and worked out. Other times I'll just be like, I'm just gonna do nothing. And so I punch out at 3, whatever, and I'm good to go.
Wow.
Now, there's a bunch of problems with this. Because I'm sitting there in this office doing nothing and my brain isn't being stimulated, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's stressful because I'm trying to fake being like I'm working, but at the same time, there's nothing to do. And at the same time, people know that I don't have anything to do. So I'm like, I don't know. It's weirdly stressful.
It sounds, because you feel like you need to be doing something, but nothing's happening, and
Yeah, and I have nothing that I can do.
That's really funny because you went from doing nothing and not getting paid for it, now to doing nothing and getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And you're still dissatisfied.
Yes. Yeah. I think this comes down to...
You need to do something. You need to feel like something's happening. You need success.
It doesn't need... It's not even... It's just literally, I don't even need to be paid. I just need to have something to do.
Yeah, that's like, you just want to be occupied. You're sitting there, you're like looking in the mirror, you're like, idle hands at the devil's playthings. Idle hands at the devil's playthings. You're like, oh shit, should I play another 30 hours of Factorio? They just released the Space Age update.
Yeah, dude. No, I was like so bored. I've never read manga in my entire life, and I'm like, let's see what garbage there is.
Dude, I've been doing that too. We linked up telepathically. I was like, man, and I realize it now after scrutinizing my my desires, because I was at first I was like, man, I have a craving to read like hero manga or something. But now that I think about it more, I just realized that I needed to be doing more stuff. I needed things planned. I needed whatever.
Just I needed to do.
Yeah. But I was reading. I read a bunch of horrible manhwa, both Korean and Chinese, that I can talk about in a second. Do you want to talk about your manga?
Oh, what have you been reading? Let me just pull it up here.
Yeah.
It's smut. It's bad.
Oh man, you've been reading the smut ones. Oh, dude. You've been suffering, dude. I can tell.
Mato Sigahai no Slave.
Yep, I read that one. That's so. Wait, hold on.
It's weirdly enjoyable because you're like, I mean, but what is the reward gonna be? No,
So the plot of that one, if I remember correctly, is that the guy. Oh my God! It's like you're right. It's about the rewards. The girls. Let me see if I can try to remember it. Give me 1 second here.
It's fresh.
So there's it's a harem. Right, there's a
Kinda,
bunch of the more girls add over time.
Yep.
He gets into a random world. It's like an isekai, but it's like a mystical version of the world.
Kinda.
And all the girls have powers, right? Because it's a matriarchy in this dimension. And he is only powerful if they use him. But if they use him for his power, the negative effect of that is that they have to give him a reward, but they don't choose the reward.
They just act.
It's instinctual. It happens. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I read that shit. I think it was a couple months ago. I was like, I got to know what's popular.
I think it's still going on.
It is. It's not done yet. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm maybe like 20 chapters in or whatever, but like so. No, he lives in the normal world and then gets transported or whatever. But he can still go back to normal world.
Yeah.
But he's like just like the best house husband, whatever guy. There's something like it's clearly trash. Like I'm watching this happen and I'm like, I know I'm just sitting here reading this. That way I can be like, oh, he's fighting pretty hard.
Yeah.
The reward has to be equivalent to how much effort he put in, by the way. So
literally the only reason I read it was just to see what degenerate reward they had to do at the end. Like that's like, and it was really pretty looking.
Yeah.
The characters were hot. I enjoyed it.
There you
it looked
go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was like, I could really enjoy this.
See, man. It's just, I don't know what it even is about it that I'm like, I got to keep reading this. But...
it is weirdly tantalizing and titillating to continue to read it.
Yeah.
That's why I read that one with the guy that found that weird dungeon in his house and then just created a harem out of it. That was stupid. The one, I've been reading more of the hero stuff rather than the smut recently, so I read two. They're two of the most popular ones. They're like web comic, I think, based, but one of them was Korean, and I'll give you the basic plot because it was really kind of dumb. So there's gates that open up in the world, right, in Korea and all over the world, and some people have magical powers and some people don't. This guy is the weakest character, okay? He goes into these dungeons because it works like a MMORPG. You have to have like 10 people to enter a dungeon.
Yeah.
And he just stands back and he gets paid to go in the dungeons because normal humans that don't have powers can't go in. But whatever power you have, it's set basically. You can't progress after that point. So you just wake up one day and you're like, I'm rank E. Or like, I'm rank A.
Yeah.
Like, those are just your powers. That's it. No one has any kind of like... computer interface or anything like that. They just wake up, they have powers, they're a rank, and then they can go into dungeons. And then they can get money that they can spend on magical items that people take out of dungeons to improve their skills further.
Sure.
And things like that. So, lo and behold, the dungeon he goes into, turns out there's a second dungeon, a secret second dungeon that opens up, right? And he's the only one, through using his mental faculties, that can figure out these very simple, trivial puzzles that none of the other characters that suffer from hubris can solve, okay? Which ends up being that he's the last one surviving and remaining in this, and that dungeon's reward for him surviving after everybody either retreated or died is that he can now level up. Okay, so he can go from rank E to rank God. Okay, basically. God tier. There's no rank God. It's just like the best, the S tier or whatever. Yeah.
Triple S.
Yeah, triple S. Yeah. Magnum opus, God tier. So literally what happens is, and people like the manga because they feel like he progresses and it gives them a sense of progression, which is my ultimate criticism with a lot of hero myth type stuff, is that they get bit by the spider or they fall in the vat and then tomorrow they're like, I can take on the responsibility of saving thousands of lives of people without any effort at all.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that. So in this one, instead of it being like a bite, it's instead, oh, I can level up. And then 3 pages later, he's like, God, I got some fucking gains, dude. I could go, I'm like rank D. I'm killing everyone now.
Wow.
So the progression has now been, at least it's a little bit bigger, but it's about 3 chapters, like 3 pages. It's so stupid. The reason I bring it up is because I read a lot of comments and people like, I really like how he progresses. It's like, dude, this guy goes from like scrawny to like Chad in like 3 days. Like, shut up, you're stupid. Like, he wakes up from a bed after a coma and he's like,
Wow.
He's like, oh, it looks like in my daily objectives, I have to do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 kilometers, like running.
My dailies?
Yeah, so he gets like the computer interface and he can interact with it, but no one else can. Yeah.
Wow.
And people are like, I don't understand. You're usually just born with the power. How does it that he just keeps like expanding his power? Every time I see him, it seems like he has a bigger killing. It's like, they're like, and eventually,
last time I saw you, you were an E.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like he tries to hide his power level as much, but he can't because his muscles keep getting fucking magnum. Like his sister's like, man, you look different, big brother. The more I look at you, the taller you get. Why are you standing over me? When did you get such abs that happened overnight? You're not the scrawny, weak brother I used to know. Yeah, so that That was called Solo Leveling, is the name of it. And the ending is so dumb, dude. So literally, I gotta explain it. So this whole thing, he progresses, he gets really strong. He has his own personal dungeons. He gets the girls to fall in love with him. It's whatever. It's all the same stuff, right?
Yeah.
The thing I did like about it, which I'll give it credit for, is I did like the politicalness between all of them, because it's a countrywide thing.
Yeah.
So they have to interact with America and China, and they each have their own powerful people, and those powerful people have interesting characters and personalities that aren't like narcissistic.
Are they
weirdo
stereotypes? Like you go to like the American, it's a guy with like a gun, and he's like, my power level scales with this gun.
No, it was not like that. There was the buff, blonde, Aryan American guy, but he didn't have some of those stereotypes or anything like that.
He's just strong American.
Yeah, he was just tough, and they fought, and the art was good, so that kept me into it. So there are positives to it, but the ending was really dumb. So here's how it ends, right? So it turns out that it's actually like a Bible thing going on, right? There's another dimension thing going on here. So there's like the monster dimension, and then there's like these. So you have like the angels, you have God, and then you have like the demon lords or whatever, basically. So imagine angels is like the good lords, and then the demon lords is the bad lords, but they need to both coexist in order to, keep the balance correct. So at some point, they realized through their constant fighting that it was like kind of BS. They're like, we don't really have to keep fighting, but what's making us fight is God. So the angels kill God. Okay, so God is dead. And then the angels are like, well, we don't want to keep fighting, so we're going to kill all the demon lords too, because then we stop fighting. Then somehow they realize that, okay, all of the places where battle grounding, like, it never solves the problem. It just makes it worse. And we, fortunately, have this chalice that allows us to rewind time, by 10 years. So what ends up happening is they're like, Earth needs to be the battleground, but Earth doesn't have magical energy, so we can't manifest ourselves on Earth. So we have to use gates where people fight monsters, and then over the course of time, we could eventually use Earth as the battleground for both the demon lords and the angel lords, right? Here's where the plot gets really dumb. Our main character has gotten so powerful in this timeline and has got all the way to the end where he finally realizes all this stuff is revealed to him. He talks to the gods. He's actually he's Lucifer himself. He's Satan. He's the fallen angel that became a demon lord. And the power that was given to him is like the shadow power or whatever, which I do like. I love the dichotomy of light and dark. I love the shadow thing. I just don't like how some of the story played. But the solution to all of this is he goes, you know what we need to do is, so every time the Earth gets up into this point, the angels and demons, the angels are like, you know what, I didn't like how this plot went this time. And so what we need to do is rewind time again. And so every time they rewind time, all the demon lords and all the angels retain their memory. And so they try again. So this has happened cyclically a bunch of different times, and they've tried different strategies, both sides, to try to get them winning, essentially. And so the shadow guy, the main character, finally gets to the end. He beats the bad guys, and he's like, you know what? I appreciate that this went this way this time. And I know that if we were to rewind time, everyone would keep their memories, but I think I could do it better the next time. And they're like, well, if you do that, then no one's going to know who the fuck you are, right? Like, you're going to keep your memories, and we're going to keep our memories, but no one in the human world is going to know what you did, because the gates won't exist, the power won't exist, none of this stuff will happen. And he's like, I'm still going to do that. And so they rewind time 10 years, and apparently, as a middle schooler, he still retains his level up and his powers or whatever. The only thing he loses is he's like a necromancer, so he loses the summons that he got over the course of time, and he has to get new summons. But he keeps whatever Satan's original summons were, which were like Beelzebub, like level demons and shit like that. And so he, as a middle schooler, like enters the magical world that no one knows about, takes care of all these problems, and then the world is solved, basically. And then they go to this other plot line where it's like, supposed to be like years later or something. Well, they go through some of his middle school, and he's like still a Chad in middle school, and then he like kind of courts the girl, and the girl's like, "Man, you seem familiar, but I don't understand why." And then she's like, "But he's so cool and powerful, I have to fall for him, even though he's like a weirdo." And then it eventually gets into like they like shoehorn in his son being like a whatever, and then magic does come to the. I don't know. It was really stupid. I stopped reading. Literally, the most interesting thing about this is that some Korean man grinded this shit for like 3 years to get all of this art done because he was the artist for it. There was another guy that authored it. Grinded it all out at 40. Brain hemorrhage, dies. Literally does the end of the story, dies. I was like, that is crazy to imagine. Like the pressure and the intensity of having to keep up with the deadlines.
And then you relax like for like 2 seconds.
Done. So the art was amazing. I did not like the plot. I like some of the themes and motifs. I dislike the narcissistic character. I hate the bullshit with the magic isekai kind of stuff. But it was interesting to read.
Yeah.
So that was one. That was Korea.
Yep.
And then I read the most popular Chinese one, and boy, let me tell you, that one is even better.
No.
And it's not bad. It's bad, but it's not that bad. Now, I only really want to talk about the plot of it because it goes in a gazillion different directions, and I really like the premise. I have not read something with this premise, and I thought it was kind of funny. It actually parallels, in some ways, the other one. So where the other one ends with him going back in time and becoming like a really powerful child essentially and doing some of the stuff, and then it kind of skips ahead to where he has his kid. There isn't really a bunch of plot of him being strong at the start and going forward. This Chinese one is in kind of like a more fantastical like world. It reminds me of Journey to the West, where there's kind of like demons and gods and stuff like that, and it follows like Chinese folklore a lot. But the plot is that this is the end of the other one in a way, because the guy already got up to the final bad boss, got killed by him, and is reincarnated in himself. So he's a middle schooler. He doesn't have any of his like powers. He's like 13 years old, basically. But he has all of the knowledge. He doesn't have any of the power.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I could see myself.
Yeah.
If I were to do that, I would be the best.
Yeah, literally. And he knows literally everything, basically. And so it's kind of funny and interesting. I think it's poorly written. I don't like a lot of the characters. I don't think the girls passed the Bechdel test, which is because they only talk about the main character and their love for the main character, really. So they're kind of one-dimensional and boring. Basically, every woman he meets seemingly becomes infatuated with him in some way. They're like, well, he's like 13, but like, he's really smart.
I'll rob that cradle.
Yeah. I'd like one of the things he does, because he has this like grandiose amount of knowledge in the beginning, is there's like an alchemy institute that's on hard times because they've been shit at figuring out alchemical solutions for different things, right?
Yeah.
And so he buys up this herb called the purple grass. It takes 3 years to grow. Buys it up. It's really cheap. Nobody wants it. There's no real demand for it. He buys as much as he can, and their storage solution in this world is interspatial rings. So it's a ring with like another dimension amount of space, kind of like a bag of holding for Dungeons and Dragons, basically. And so he buys like thousands and hundreds of thousands of pounds of this stuff because he gets a little bit of money. He helps one of the rich girls. She's like, yeah, I'll buy as much as you need. Who cares? Nobody fucking buys this shit anyways. Buys it all up, and then he since he has infinite knowledge, gives the Alchemy Institute like 50 potential uses for this thing, of which they confirm all of the uses. Some of them are like age regression, some of them are like beauty, some of them are cultivation practices, some of them are strength building, whatever.
Yeah.
50 to 60 uses. And they're like, man, this is amazing. Purple grass is really valuable. Get it out. We got to go use it. We got to start buying it or whatever. Turns out it's all sold. And so then he starts going through the process of literally like slowly selling it, and he has like infinite money pretty much from the beginning because of this stunt.
Yeah.
And then throughout basically you can imagine he uses his knowledge throughout the entire course of time to both make allies, to defeat people, to be like a dick, whatever.
Yeah.
Like my favorite joke that doesn't continue because like the father died is that he married this girl in his past life, and he intends to marry her in this life as well. But because he's kind of like a cocky brat as like a child, he keeps calling her dad father-in-law, even though he's not married to her or engaged or betrothed in any way. And the guy's like, what does this guy keep saying? Like, I'm not your father-in-law. But like, he keeps doing things for him that like basically make this father in debt to him. So over the course of time, like, he ends up just having to grow into the fact that like, yes, I'll marry my daughter to you if that's what she wants. If she wants that, then she can whatever. But like the antagonism between like the adult being like, you gotta stop calling me father-in-law. I'm not your father-in-law. At like every significant event, is really funny to me. So
Jesus.
So yeah, dude.
Epic.
Yeah,
dude. Mongo. Been doing that.
Yeah, honestly, I realize now that like I desired some sort of like a heroic like utility or something.
Yeah.
And I just needed to consume this stuff to, feel that desire. But now I'm like, okay, well, today I guess I got a job and I got stuff to do and I got YouTube
You can be
videos.
your own hero.
Yeah, I'm my own hero now. I don't need like random Chinese Korean fantasies.
Yeah. To tell you how to feel.
Yeah, I can just be I can be the hero I've always meant to be.
That's right. You're going to fix everybody's problems.
That's what I'm going to do. Oh, you need a light fix?
But yeah, dude.
Yeah, so.
Exciting.
Yeah, manga.
Yeah, dude. But I'm trying to think of anything else.
Yeah, tell me what else.
That I've been doing while doing nothing. Yeah, so basically, let me tell you about how my mind is been dulled by this, right? So I've been sitting there doing nothing. And this is worse than actually doing nothing because whenever your body's in motion, it wants to stay in motion, right? So my thing is whenever I wake up, I want to like make breakfast, go work out, right? That way I'm like, I start the day out with like, I'm doing things. Mm-hmm. Whenever I go to this place and I sit there and do nothing, my mind and body's just like, we just want to sit and fall asleep and die early. And that's it. And so like I'll go home and it's like a fight just to go like, no, you're going to the gym. And I'm like, no, but what if I'm going to stay home. And I don't know why this happens. I think it's just, if you keep moving, you want to keep moving. But
I've struggled with something similar. It takes me a while to get out of bed these days. Like I'm like, man, I don't want to get up.
Yep.
Like there's no reason for me to get up. Like I don't have a caffeine addiction anymore.
Yep.
So like I don't feel the need to like get up and go get coffee.
Yeah.
Before it was like, oh my god, my head's gonna fucking explode if I don't get coffee.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh dude, do I have to? It's like cold.
I don't want to like move the blanket.
Like, man, I don't even want to do anything, man. I could just cuddle up in here with this. Just
fall back asleep.
Yeah, whatever.
No, that's see, like on the weekends, my cat he'll crawl up next to me and want like pets, and so I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, it's nice waking up to my cat being chill, and like I pet him for a while, and then like he falls asleep, and so maybe I'll fall back asleep, but usually because I was petting him, I'm awake now, and so I got to get up. So. Maybe you just need a cat, is what I'm saying.
I honestly, with the toxoplasmosis thing that we talked about in our early...
You already got it.
I am not... I will get tested for that at some point. I guarantee you I have it.
Yeah, I probably do too.
There is no way. I have to... Like, when I look up and I read stories of people like, people that have toxoplasmosis typically are like more risk-seeking, thrill-seeking behavior. Like they're motorcyclists. Like that's a common trend. And I'm like, why does my life have to be so stimulated with stuff? It's got to be because I got a parasite in my brain. It's the only way. It's the only fucking solution. So,
I mean,
it has to be, bro. You don't understand.
What if the reality is that it's fine, and that it's just this is who you are.
I don't know, man. I think it's a parasite.
I believe it. Dude, is there... Oh, the lamp. I was like looking at our image right there, and I was like, what is on the tree? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
and
dude,
it's the lamp.
Yeah, it's my cochlear implant.
That's nice.
Yeah, it helps me hear.
Yep.
Yeah, it goes right through my ear.
Hey.
Oh. God. Yeah, but I actually think, as of today, I think, I've been like maybe I should just get into my book club because I might explain some of the things here that I've been thinking of.
Okay.
So recently I finished Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really good. It was quite impressionable on me. I kind of grinded it and I skimmed the end of it, like the last third. So I'm gonna go back and read it, which is what I was reading before you got here.
Yeah.
For my book club because I love to procrastinate. I
It's
actually
fun.
don't love it. I hate it, but I do it.
But you do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I do the same.
I think I have solutions for it now, but I have to like remind myself and reflect on the fact that like, dude, every time you read a book, you hate having to rush it. You like going slow. Like I just gotta keep that in mind when I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But we chose The Art of War for the next book club, which is very short. It's like less than 10,000 words. So. But anyways, I read the book. I really liked it. Some funny thoughts from the book club. Pretty much everyone hated it. They completely detested the book, which was very funny because it was me and another guy who suggested reading this book for this, and his lottery draw was the one that won when we drew for the book.
Yeah.
And the only person that was center about it, that could see the value in it from like a philosophical perspective rather than a psychological perspective, was my buddy Gabe. But he's more of like a centrist type of person.
Yeah.
But all the other guys hated it.
What is it? What is it about?
So it's pretty interesting. It basically is an introduction into the concept that your dreams have meaning, essentially.
Okay.
That the unconscious exists and that the unconscious isn't nonsense. It's basically all it is.
So I guess that okay, yeah. I guess you'll have to explain it a bit further, but I mean, like from just that, I don't know. Why would that be controversial?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So there's a couple things that could be the reason why they did not like this. Some of them are speculative on my part. Some of them could be projection on my part. Whatever. Some of them could be format. I don't know for sure. Mm-hmm. But initially, the book begins with Carl Jung himself. Now, if you haven't read Jung, like when you read him, his words are like. He's not dense himself, but his words are very dense. And when I say dense, I don't mean it in like a negative way. I mean that there's a lot to think about. You kind of want to stop and think about what he's saying because he does connect a bunch of topics in interesting ways. And it's never just one topic. It's never just one thing. You don't read something from him and you're like, yes, this is the only singularly implied meaning of what he is saying. It is usually like a multitude amount of meanings, and he's kind of verbose in the way he talks about it. He's, in a way, he embodies that like unconscious abstract self. None of his stuff really is like logical. Well, it is logical, but it's not specific enough for people that are really logical and rational.
Gotcha.
So it opens up with an intro explaining like the whole purpose of this book is to introduce the Jungian concepts, the things that Carl Jung had studied, to a broader audience. That's the purpose of the book. And Jung himself, this was like the final thing that he contributed to before he died. And so the first chapters are like Jung's actual writing and his thoughts. And then it goes into his like subordinates, people that followed him, his like students and stuff. They write the other chapters where they talk about and explain some of these other concepts in a less flowery, like difficult, dense way, I think. But it might just be my preconceived notions of this stuff. I have been exposed to Jung. I have read some of his stuff. I get kind of the concept he's going for and what he's aiming for. I understand. I have preconceived knowledge when I went into this book. So for me, it was easier to parse out this stuff. I could imagine from somebody that has no understanding of what the hell he's talking about and what he's segmenting, and he doesn't use any graphs or anything, so it makes it pretty difficult to understand.
Yeah.
So some of the guys like had a misconception about like how these different archetypes work. So essentially an archetype is like a common motif that appears within dreams. So basically Jung studied a bunch of dreams, like over 80,000 he said, and after analyzing them recognized that these characters or patterns, which he called the archetypes, the motifs, were continuing to like exist in them. They appeared to him as he recognized them. As well as in stories and mythology, these archetypes exist as well. So in our creative endeavors, we have expressed the fact that these archetypes exist. And so his basic premise is essentially that, okay, bugs and like animals and things like that, some of them aren't trained. They don't. Their mother doesn't teach them how to do things. They have instincts.
Yeah.
They kind of have general knowledge innately within them that they understand how to live by. And so his like essential basic theory and hypothesis is that we, like animals, also have instincts. They are within our unconscious because our logical self is kind of what takes in the day-to-day. The conscious, it processes information. We use our language in order to speak stuff. But the simple concept is that you do have instincts, but you're divorced from them. And potentially those instincts are being relayed to you through your dreams or your unconscious and things like that.
I mean, like, so I just put this together, so I might be completely wrong.
No, you're good.
But rather than like humans having instincts or not having instincts, because I think I've heard like arguments for both of that. What if we just have like cell intelligence?
Yeah, that's basically similar to what the concept is. I mean, that's pretty similar.
Yeah, but I think it combines like, yeah, you have instincts, but it's not really like, I think whenever people hear instincts, they think of like, oh, your brain just knows to do X, right? Whereas like most people don't, maybe they don't know how to do X, but like there's certain feelings that you get from doing certain things. Like whenever like a mother breastfeeds their child or whatever, they feel like a connection. And that's just like, that's there so that way you take care of your baby.
I think those exist, but I think Jung specifically was like delineating like kind of like an inner voice or an inner self that does want to push you towards like evolution or like growing and maturing, essentially. Like there is some sort of deeper like you could relate it to like religious concepts like God essentially pushing you to, evolve. But I can see the rational scientific perspective as well of like, yes, of course we have chemicals that encourage us and incentivize us to live a certain way.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's strictly chemical level as well. I think it is literally like some sort of DNA type thing where these images and symbols are prevalent in us already. It's just a matter of meditating and seeing them in dreams and interpreting and analyzing them.
So I've already made it better by just saying it was cell intelligence.
Yeah, basically. That was more constructive than some of the things.
Oh, no. What were the complaints, though?
Yeah, so the complaints were like I guess the most egregious complaint, which I thought, which is a choice, really, at the end of the day. But one of the guys had said that this book was a complete waste of time and it was completely useless to him and he got no information from it. I was like, I feel like that's something that's a choice. I mean, I can't imagine you could read something, even if you disagree with it, that like you wouldn't find some value in it in some way. And maybe it was just in that moment, it was kind of like a boisterous thing to say. Maybe it didn't really mean exactly that he got nothing from the book, but he wanted to relay to us like hyperbolized that he really disliked the book. He wanted to communicate that.
Is Jung like as an author, is he like edgy? Like, is he far right? Like, something?
He mentioned that he felt like Jung was pretentious in his writings, and I didn't get that from him. Like, the main complaint of the book was they felt like there was a lot of leaps in logic. So I'll give you one of the examples in the book that they talk about that was brought up on our table that the guys talked about a lot. And I think the difficulty is, and maybe this is like the way I'm perceiving things now, but I had read a quote from Jung that had talked about how man generally wants things to mean one thing. They want a very clear and like clarifiable understanding of words. They don't want multiple meanings because that stuff just like distracts them from the point. They feel more comfortable when they understand something completely and totally.
Yeah.
So that was, I forget exactly the way the quote was worded, but that is something that I think embodies this next segment that I wanted to talk about. So in the book, they talk about this girl. They talk about one dream from this girl. And the girl had a dream where she was laying in her bed at night and Jack Frost, a very creepy monster type character, walked up to her and pinched her on the stomach. And then that was basically the dream.
Yeah.
And then the following line is that later in her life, like, she committed suicide because she had no reaction to this dream particularly. And so the guys were like, well, it feels like a leap in logic to say that she was going to commit suicide based on this dream communicating that. And I was like, well, I get that. And obviously we're lacking context because we don't know what all the other dreams are.
Yeah.
But I think you can extrapolate from the dream, if this were a pattern, that her cold, unfeeling, like, of self and her unreaction to Jack Frost the monster could potentially like relay us some information about who she is, and that pattern could be somebody that is suicidal. It could be somebody that's unfeeling, that is disconnected with their ability to feel. I mean, I get that I could be making leaps in logic, but that was a big stuck point for them. They were stuck on that topic.
Yeah. So here's something.
Yeah.
All right. Because one of my dreams typically, I don't find much sense in them typically. Now, like, I like the idea that dreams mean something and that your subconscious is trying to tell you something. But I feel like whenever I meditate or even if I do drugs or whatever, I can communicate with my subconscious better. And maybe I just get like whatever thoughts or whatever idea things I'm trying to get out through that rather than my dreams. So a recent dream that I had was I was trying to assassinate a goblin that was up. I was inside of a cave, but the cave was also like it had like a lamp in the middle. So it was like an office, but then there was like a cave cliff. And so I had like a pick. And so I was going to use this. I was going to throw it at him and like hopefully just headshot the goblin. And then like I can walk through whatever. I don't really have like a goal. I just was like, I got to kill that goblin so I can get through here or whatever. And so like I peek in the doorway and I like throw it and it bounces off of a lamp and comes back and hits me in the leg. And then I look at my leg and it has 2 wounds. I'm like, damn. And then I woke up because I was like, oh man, I better check my wound. I was a little panicked about it. And I woke up and like felt my leg. Oh wait.
That dream, see, my interpretation of that dream initially. So like, how do you, I guess, see, the difficulty with all of this stuff with dream analysis is that it's intimately personal.
Yes.
Like, we don't know what you view these things as. Like, it says in the book that like typically the inner self often manifests as like an animal or like nature. I could view, this goblin character as your nature.
And this nature.
Yeah, I don't have a goblin, but I'm
Just
looking
bring in
up,
the goblin.
I'm physically imposing a goblin in my eyes as I look at it. Like you said, he was up high, right? He was above you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a metaphor there of like the aboveness.
Yeah.
To me, and then you wanted to kill him.
So, let me also add this.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
And I also, before I went to go throw the thing, I, in my mind, felt as though a dice roll happened. Now, to me, looking at this completely outside, in my mind, I was just playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, and my subconscious was thinking about playing Baldur's Gate, and added me into whatever, so that way I can assassinate a goblin inside my dream.
Yeah, see, to me, the dream is like it uses things that recently occurred in order to communicate things to you. That's kind of what I view it. But I guess the thing I'm not really sure exactly what your dream means. My initial impression looking at that dream is yourself, the natural part of you feel like you need to kill. But instead, when you go to throw this thing to kill it, right, which is above you, it is elevated higher, you instead hit a lamp. And lamps to me are like... things that emit light, and light is like truth to me. So you had in the fact that it reflected it back at you to wound you means to me that your truth of overcoming your nature by killing it was incorrect, and you instead hurt yourself instead of like trying to unify with the natural self. Like that's kind of like what I get out of it. But
I guess like, okay, so if we take it to that point, right? I guess to me, I don't fully see like that. I guess like I don't feel
like
that
I'm making
way,
a story out of it, right? I'm making a narrative. I'm like considering things that I could be symbols. I don't know how you view a lamp. I don't know how you view a goblin. I don't know how you view things elevated above you.
I really look at like in my head canon. All right, like the goblin was just simply put, it could have been anything. It could have been anybody. It could have been any whatever, right? So I don't think the goblin necessarily mattered. The height wasn't anything more than like in my brain I was like, I got to make the calculation to throw this thing, so I have to angle it up, and that's why I hit the lamp. That was like where the height came to play, right? But like the lamp, I don't know, like I guess it could mean something, but I don't know. I find it really hard to figure these dreams out, because like I always try to like draw these things like you just did, right? Oh, this could mean this, but then I think about myself and I'm like, I don't really see any of these things that way consciously.
Yeah, you would have to. I imagine you'd have to like meditate, but you'd also have to like, I don't know. It's really difficult to tell like what is exactly right, because I don't know if any of this is specifically right. I think it's more of like a personal like, okay, well, I'm reflecting on this, and I'm reflecting on elements in the dream. I even think that the fact that you had 2 wounds is more significant than the fact that you had 1 wound from the thing that you did.
Thing that I threw.
Yeah. Like, why weird. After injuring yourself?
I took it as, whenever I was thinking about it in the dream, I took it as I got injured earlier on in whatever I was in. The office dungeon thing. Yeah. Right?
And even the cave seems significant to me. Like, why is and what kind of lamp was it? Was it like a electric lamp?
Like hanging off the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Like
a chandelier.
Like one that you would see, yeah, but like at a Texas Roadhouse. Like one of those big globe ones.
Yeah.
With a light in the middle. And it's like, it wasn't even really lighting up the cave. The cave was still kind of dark. So it was just there.
Yeah.
You know?
And that almost sounds like a sun, like an orb or something.
Yeah. And then as a separate dream, this is more of a sleepwalk dream.
Yeah.
So I had one recently where I just had like partially woken up from my sleepwalk, and I'm like, oh man, I got those. Like I literally said that out loud, and I had thought that I had chopped, like I somehow like knifed these squids that like flew over, and they like splatted on the ground next to the bed. And so I literally got out of bed, and I asked my wife, I'm like, hey, where are the paper towels? And like I went downstairs, I looked for the paper towels, I couldn't find the paper towels, came back up, I'm like, oh, I gotta clean that up. I went back downstairs, and I asked her, I'm like, hey, so where are the paper towels? She's like, on the counter. I'm like, okay. I go back downstairs, because I'm half awake, couldn't find the paper towels. Walk back upstairs, I look on the, like, because we have one of those things, a backboard on our bed.
Yeah.
I look on there, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, full of spiders. And I just see, like, cobwebs, or I think that there's cobwebs there. And so I grab my pillow, I move to the middle of the bed, and I go back to sleep. So, like, I remember, like, clips of this, and then talking to my wife about this, it was like, yeah, why'd you ask me about the paper towels?
Dude, that's so weird. I really don't know what sleepwalking says about you, but that's crazy.
I've done it my whole life,
I know,
so I don't know.
We've talked about it before, but it's wild to me.
Yeah.
Even one of the guys there was talking about this weird habit that I would have never imagined anybody could have. He will, in the middle of the night, wake up. So he's laying down, right? Like, this is his head, this is his body. His wife is next to him in the same way. He'll wake up in the middle of the night, literally remember get up just to flip the other way, and like obviously when his wife wakes up, like his feet are by her head, and I'm just like, what? Why would you do that? He's like, I do it every night.
It's
like,
the midnight rotation.
I was like, dude, what if you go to bed with your feet where your wife's head are? Like, will you still flip, or will you not flip? Like, will you be upright the right way? Like, I kind of want to know.
God,
it's really bizarre. But yeah, they didn't like the book. I think it probably was related to the fact that they view everything really logically or rationally. Like, because one of the things was like another topic of like that we got stuck on was there's a point where Jung agrees with Nietzsche about the fact that God is dead. And this concept is basically just that, like, God as like an image within people's like lives, and as well as like faith, is diminishing as time goes forward. As people believe in rationality and science more so than religion, things that can't be proven, I guess, they become more faithless, and thus that saying God is dead is really just indicating that aspect. It's not necessarily saying that God himself has died or something like that. But that's the way I take it anyways. I haven't read it.
Yeah, either way, right?
I haven't read Nietzsche, but like when one of the guys had read this line, they took it as Jung is an atheist, and Jung is presupposing that like the absolute truth of like God is, and like that's their perception of it.
You could see it that way.
Yeah, but I really don't. Yeah. Like that seems like leaping rather than just reading what he's saying. Like he's saying God is dead, and he agrees that God is like not as prevalent in the conscious minds of people as much as he was in the past. Yeah. Probably because people don't read the Bible anymore. They are distracted by a whole number of other things. Yeah. Amazon Prime exists. Like,
evidence.
Buying and selling things is more important than the spiritual life. Yeah, like
Bezos is my God.
Consumerism has become elevated to the sense of idolatry. Like all of these things, like would indicate to me, yes, that God is dead in some fashion.
I think this is an aside. You just mentioned Amazon. There's a new Futurama episode, which they just started making.
Really?
Again,
I did not know.
So the episode was the Mom Corporation or whatever makes essentially Amazon on the moon, and it's like starts as a really small factory, and it slowly grows, and they have like an AI, and the AI is like, I want to grow, and it starts like just like consuming everything, and everybody's like ordering things. They're like, oh no, we got to stop it. We can't let it consume everything. And then eventually it keeps growing, and it consumes the whole earth, and then it consumes the sun, then it consumes like pretty much everything till it goes like bigger than the universe. And they're like, well, we can't really stop it now. And then they like order things off of Amazon. Like, yeah, it's just everywhere now. And it's just, so it's like, in a weird way, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what happens with all these giant mega corporation things. We're like, no,
yeah, we got to cope with it.
Yeah,
there's nothing we can do.
We got Amazon Prime now.
Yeah, but like the convenience of having Amazon Prime is more better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's just a quick.
Yeah, no, that is very funny. Yeah, so whatever the case, it was basically, yeah, those guys did not like it. They view their dreams as nonsense. They viewed it as like a garbage collector, similar to how you were describing it, where like you played a lot of Baldur's Gate, so yeah, obviously you have dreams of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
This guy, one of the guys there, was invested in a lot of YouTube channels about dead malls and things like that, and he had a dream of the dead mall, and he's like, yep, that makes sense, dead mall.
That tracks.
But the way I think about it is I think that the dream is taking, your unconscious is taking the most relevant, memorable, short-term information that you process to try to tell you something directly. Yeah. So I don't view it as nonsense particularly. I just view it as it's using common things that you saw recently to communicate that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think partially too, like, I feel connected to my subconscious. I feel as though I can, if I focus on it hard enough, I can kind of gather what my subconscious is trying to tell me, right? Mm-hmm. And so if I meditate on it or whatever, I can focus on that. So mayhaps, there's an idea that, like, I'm connected to my subconscious enough to where my subconscious is like, oh, I don't need to, like, tell you anything through dreams, and then let's just use this as, like, what scientific people or scientists would call like REM sleep, where you get your storage and all your rest, right? So like maybe my brain is just making a dream to remember things or whatever, right?
Yeah, so it's all possible. Yeah.
Who knows?
Speaking of
aliens,
dreams and fantasies and things like that, we got to witness something last time.
Oh, yeah.
We had a podcast, and I think it's important that we talk about it because it's hilarious. So after the podcast, we're sitting there, right? I'm talking to you now, so I got to look at you.
Yeah.
We're walking, okay? We're like, Sam was getting ready to leave, and I was like, you know what? Why don't we go on a walk? We'll just go.
Yeah, let's go for a walk.
Let's go have a fun walk. Yeah, there's a forest, around here.
Look at that.
I was like, we'll just go for a walk. We'll go see. So we're talking, we're chatting. Sam's telling me about how he canceled his HelloFresh, and he's making a lot more meals that are fresher than HelloFresh, right? Yeah. And in the corner of my eye, I'll tell you what I saw, then you can tell me what you saw. Yeah. So I see what looks like somebody wearing skin-colored leggings.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, man, what? Why does it look like somebody's wearing skin-colored leggings?
Yeah.
Both, that's horrible. It looks like they're naked.
It does.
And I can see them beyond me, probably like 100 feet maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a bench up there, so I figured, somebody's sitting up there or something.
Yeah.
So what did you see when we were going?
The same exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought like some dude was just wearing like khakis, like brown pants. Yeah. I'm like, weird, I wonder what he's looking at, because he was staring like off to the side of the trail.
Yeah. So the way the trail goes, so the trail is here. And there's a road parallel to it. And he wasn't facing the road. He was facing deeper into the forest.
Yeah, like, I thought, like, maybe he was like, there's a deer. Maybe the guy saw a deer and he was like, hey, well, I'm gonna say. But then...
So my brain is trying to process this information. I'm like, what is this? What am I seeing? And we're getting closer. We keep getting closer. We're getting louder because we're talking about HelloFresh.
Yeah.
It's a passionate discussion.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we realize this dude was fucking naked.
Yep.
Dude. He was from the bottom down, completely naked, completely nude. Then we're like, what is he doing naked out here? To which we see like his girlfriend or whatever, like on the bench.
Yeah.
Like, legs up. And then we're like, oh my God. And then they notice us, probably because they were too, like, embroiled in the heat of the romance and passion of being outside next to a school.
Oh, yeah. There's
a hospital.
Yeah.
Like, this is the entrance of a trail.
Yeah.
Like, so they notice us and they're like, oh my God. I don't know if the guy finished or not. We'll never know.
Who knows? Yeah.
He's like hustling. He's trying to pick up his pants.
That's when I realized, that was the moment I realized, because he pulled up, like, a blue thing. up to his waist. Oh, that wasn't khaki.
Yeah, literally, and once we could see the contrast, I was like, oh my God, I've been looking at a naked man's ass while we're walking in the woods on our nature walk.
Yeah.
And so he hustles it up, and by the time we finally get up to them, before we can even say, like, anything to him.
What's up?
Before we can be like, did you manage to finish? Or like, don't worry, keep going. We'll be back. It's gonna or whatever. Like,
just walk by, like, pound it.
Yeah,
like your wife, girlfriend.
Before we can say literally anything, they both, and mind you, they're like an older couple. They're probably in their 40s or 50s.
40s.
They're overweight for sure. And I pretty much only saw the back of their head because they ran straight into the woods. They were like,
it was a brisk pace.
Yeah, they were gone. They were trying to like play it off like they weren't doing something. But they were hustling. There was a hustle in their step. It wasn't like, oh hey, could we get directions to this? Like, no, they were gone. They weren't going to engage at all. Yeah.
They knew we saw.
Yeah, they knew it. Which we either stopped them, gave the dude blue balls.
I know.
I don't know.
I feel bad.
We made a joke that because we were gonna walk right back around, and I was like, dude, if we see him again, I am going to die laughing. Like now that I know what was happening.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
They had to have just gone straight to their car.
Yeah,
just
dude,
like.
I bet they went straight to the car, and I bet the wife or girlfriend or whatever was like, I told you we were gonna call. I told every time. Why do we do something so frisky like that all the time?
It's either that or this is their thing.
Yeah,
they
this
do
is
this all
their
the
thing.
time.
Yeah. Or she like pushed him, and he was like worrying about it. He's like, I don't know if we should do that. If I'm a good Christian boy, I can't do something like that in public. Whatever, who knows? But either way, it was really funny. It was very funny. Beautiful. I did not expect that. I told Jade the first thing she said to me is like, we're never sitting on that bench. It's like, I really don't think that matters.
Well, so, and then too, I think, maybe I didn't mention in the last podcast, but I saw there was a girl driving in her car, and I was like driving next to her, and I look over, and she had her window cracked a little bit. She had tinted windows. But like I look in the little crack that's there, and she's like naked, like she just topless in her car. So like this happened like 2 weeks prior to our.
Wow.
I don't know. I've just been exposed to
crazy.
People exposing themselves.
That's really bizarre. Maybe that's like a common thing, the synchronicity of the world. I mean, obviously, if it happens so many times, it's not a coincidence anymore. The world's trying to tell you something.
I need to go naked, be one with nature.
A nudist.
Yeah.
But maybe it is one with nature.
Yeah. See? Look at that.
You've been talking about going to the cabin more recently.
I need to.
Yeah.
I need to go walk around naked. Yeah. Get ticks.
Yeah, everything.
Die.
All of it. Yeah, because you die from ticks.
You get Lyme disease and then die.
Potentially.
Yeah. But so...
So yeah, that was crazy. I can't believe we saw that. Super funny.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Another
thing off the bucket list.
It's weird too, because like my whole life I never saw anybody naked till like in public, I guess. Till like a couple weeks ago. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really know if I've ever seen anybody naked in public other than like, the gym locker rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is normal.
Yeah.
And you saw like all the saunas and stuff when you were in Iceland.
Yeah, but that's like you're meant to.
Yeah, you're supposed to be.
You have to shower
naked.
naked.
Maybe we got to delineate then. It's people naked in situations they shouldn't be naked in.
Yeah. Yeah, like driving a car in a park.
Like socially, what are you doing?
Yeah, wait a second. Society.
Yeah. Hold on. We're not Ooga Booga anymore. Why are you Ooga Boogaing? Yeah.
Are you the maintenance man?
Yeah. Yes, I am. Jingles keys.
Oh, okay. Carry on.
Yeah. I only talk in chest pats.
2 for no, 1 for yes. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just watch this YouTube video. You said you needed a light fix? Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
You want this tile replaced? 1 second.
Yeah, hold on. What is tile even? Where do I buy tile? I guess Home... Yeah, I can go to Home Depot.
I'll be back in an hour.
I walk there. I come back barefoot with like a grocery bag, like that Home Depot bag and stuff. They're like, what did you do? Like my feet are like dirty, covered in asphalt.
Yeah, how'd you even get into Home Depot without shoes?
Yeah, they're like, no shirt, no shoes, no service. But they were like intimidated by me, so they let me in.
You walked in with such gusto
Yeah.
that they're like, I won't stop him.
Yeah, they looked at my eyes and saw that I hadn't seen sunlight in days, and the guy, like, thought better of to ask me anything. They're like, you know what, he probably can pay. Let's just hope he pays. If he doesn't pay...
Let's hope he pays.
If he can't, it's going to be a problem, but...
You just walk out.
It's going to be... It'll be okay.
You just go to, like, the screw aisle, and you're just, like, grabbing random ones, put in your pockets, and you leave.
Yeah, they're, like, surprised I know how to use self-checkout because I'm, like, hitting it with my fist, the buttons. I'm, like, using the scanner upside down.
Yeah, you got it, like,
shit.
You're using your pinky to hit the trigger.
I'm, like, kind of getting frustrated with, like, visible grunts, and so, like, the guy comes over and, like, beeps the stuff for me, and I'm like, ooh. I love this, like, caveman maintenance man thing, dude. That was, like, my new favorite character.
On your way out, you like, drop a book that you've been reading, and it's...
Yeah, they don't even understand it. They're, like, impressed. It's, like, way beyond their philosophical understanding. It's like Aristotle or something.
Yeah, yeah, you've been reading. Yeah. It's got, like, notes on the side.
Yeah, it's, like, bilingual, and I have notes in both languages in it. I'm like, wow, this guy's... Well, just pretend I didn't see it. The guy goes to his therapist. He's like, dude, you won't believe what I saw the other day. The therapist is like, are you sure you weren't sleepwalking? This is like a dream you had? Potentially, like, engaging with a more natural part of yourself could be your soul crying out to individuate.
Yeah, I didn't like the book that you're talking about.
Yeah. Actually, we didn't study things like you're talking about, so I don't know anything about it. So basically, it's just not important.
Yeah. I can give you antidepressants, though.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I think would help you? So there's this pill. It's not Adderall. It's like an SSRI. You've heard of those, right? They're really popular with the kids all over. I recently prescribed a 5-year-old. I can't go into the details because of the hippocampal laws, whatever. But
by the way, he lives over down on Jacob Street.
Yeah.
3 houses down.
The girl never depressed again. In fact, she doesn't even leave her house anymore to complain. What can you have to complain about when all you do is sit there staring at a ceiling all day? Nothing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Her family, if they need to get anything out of her, they hook her up to an IV pure caffeine. Mainlines it straight to her veins. She wakes up for a few seconds, and the only thing she can say is, please, Mom, get me off the drug, before they put her to sleep.
Yep.
And then she goes back into her calm, collected state, like she should be.
Yeah. Stacy, say hi to Grandma.
Oh, we like to, we joke. You know, us, we call her Spacey sometimes. She doesn't move or make any... God, good old Spacey. She loves it. She gets a kick out of it. She's just like... in the bed. They like
just
roll
smile.
The bed out.
Yeah.
She has one of those like hospice beds that like slowly come up. Face the family, Spacey. Look at her fucking every time.
All right, you can go now. You can like send her.
Say hi to Grandma. She's just like, great job.
She just like burps up a little.
Yeah, she's like choking on her spit. Spacey.
Spacey, that's what we call it.
Yeah. Like to get a little bit of the alliteration in there. Spittle Spacey.
We also call her Shitty Spitty Spacey.
Yeah, you have to change her bedpan all the time. Don't understand, but you know what? It's better than that bitch complaining.
God, I love my daughter.
So good. Man, I always worried when I was becoming a father that I'd have to deal with the rebellious teenage phase, but thank God for modern medicine giving me just the tool I need to keep her literally drowning. Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, gremlin caveman maintenance man is my new job.
But yeah, dude.
Yeah, what else is on your mind?
I had we did like a memorial thing, right? For my one of my uncles that was my dad's uncle, so second uncle. Okay. He's like a grandpa, right?
Yeah.
But he passed away a while ago. But we had a family memorial because he died down in Florida. So then months later, up here on his birthday or whatever, did the memorial. Now, My family, as you may recall, those of you who have been listening.
Yeah, the longtime listeners, here's your payoff, finally.
Yeah. As you know, my family enjoys a beverage or two. Now, this memorial was lit. My Uncle Ed, I'm sure he had a good time if he had a ghostly presence at the party.
I'm sure you guys spilled enough alcohol to reach 6 feet under.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But, we had it was a good time having everybody together. So, I just figured I'd throw that in there. That was a good time.
Do you have any thoughts about like how it went? Like, were people mourning? Was it more just celebration?
I think that most people in my family, myself included, I don't think many people want to sit there and mourn. Mm-hmm. Like especially when it's like he died of being old, and you know what I mean.
So he lived a long life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he like died all of a sudden from like a dude that like came out of a bush and stabbed him. You know what I mean? It's not.
Those bushwhackers.
Yeah, down in Florida,
take you out. Yeah, when you're living your whole life without ever having to deal with winter, you become desensitized to having to suffer for your existence.
Yeah,
and so they just languidly walk, and the bushwhackers wait.
Well, you know how you become a bushwhacker, right?
No, I don't.
You lose your maintenance job.
Oh, that's what it is.
Where you were a caveman maintenance guy.
They're disheveled, like laid off maintenance workers.
And you only know hunt now.
Yeah. You can't do any. You don't have the space that you did before to be able to. Yeah.
So now you're confused, and so you stab whoever comes by.
Yeah.
But luckily, Uncle Ed didn't end up like that. We're good.
That's good.
But it was nice seeing it. It's always, I say this every time that I see my family. I'm like, oh, it's nice seeing everybody. And like every time before I'm about to go see my family, like, I kind of feel like just staying home and playing video games. But then I go and have a lot of fun, like talking to my family and being around them and stuff. So that's always good. And then a couple days later, like one of my parents is basically a continuation of the memorial, which was pretty cool.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
And
partying.
That was it. My cousin, she announced she was pregnant. That's cool.
Hopefully she wasn't drinking.
She wasn't at the thing. She was in North Dakota, which is a ways away. Gotcha. So,
I thought it was like a couple of drinks. I'm pregnant.
We have lied in the past to my grandma that one of my other cousins was pregnant. That was fun.
That sounds like a good joke.
We were like trying to pretending that my younger cousins were really good at deception. I think
they're like mischief. Yeah.
I've taught them. I feel maybe not just me, but just over their lives, they've gathered enough mischief within themselves.
Little
like
tricksters.
Dude, my grandma was like hook, line, and sinker. And like we were like, I can't believe that she's pregnant. And like nearby, my grandma's like, what'd you say? And then like, grandma, you weren't supposed to hear that. Emily's pregnant. and she's like, oh, and like walked over immediately, went directly straight line to my cousin. She's like, don't you have something to tell everyone? And
then she's sitting there like, what?
What are you talking about? So, that's,
oh my God,
a little bit of family fun.
Dude, that's so good.
So, but anyway, my other cousin was actually pregnant, which, that's good. My older cousins, since I got married, they've been like, yeah, so, we're, figuring out the next generation. What's going on?
What's the timeline?
What you doing? What you got?
When you gonna up?
When are you gonna take off the condoms?
Yeah.
That's literally my cousin who has 3 kids.
Your cousin's like, he's like, where do you keep the condoms? And he just goes and like, he's like, you're ready for this, right? You keep telling me you're ready for this.
But like I get it. At the same time, it's just like
it's like pressure, dude.
All of the older cousins are like I have cousins that are older than me. There's no signs of kids. Like my one,
they don't go for them. They go for you.
I'm young and impressionable.
Yeah, no, you're submissive and breedable. They're like,
that's
he can take it.
I'm like that guy in the slave one.
Yeah.
In the slave manga.
You're exactly him. You do the housework and your wife is like, it's time. to give you your reward for working so hard.
And that's whenever she, steps on my dick with heels.
Yeah, and that's the real reason that you're not. It's because the heels.
I'm infertile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're impotent after her stepping on them so much.
I try to tell them, like, well, we do and then they just talk over me about,
Yeah, you start, they hear that tone of voice, the inflection of, well, like, it's like you're going to say an excuse. They already know. They don't even care what the excuse. They already turned off. They're like, we need to get this chick pregnant.
The excuse is very real, but they just don't want to hear it. Yeah.
Probably because they're already, like, they want to either have other people to share, the fact that they had children with and, like, suffer the same with you or something.
I think the whole idea... Mm-hmm. All right, and this is like theorizing.
Yeah.
They want they want to be able to because whenever I was growing up, my family is very together, and so I'd go over to cousin's house all the time, back and forth, have cousins over, go over to cousin's house. So every other weekend in the summer, especially, it was I'm going over here, and they're coming over here, whatever. And so now, parents had a break. And I think that my cousins who have had kids now, they're like, I see it. I see what I need to do now.
They keep looking at you and they're like, these fucking dinks need to have a kid.
Just do it.
Yeah, double income, no kid, dinks. That's what you fucking are. A bunch of goddamn dinks. And they're like, we can't bring our kids over to hang out with these dinks because they're boring as fuck and they don't have kids. And their kids can't keep our kids occupied while we have more adult conversations.
Yeah. I want to be able to have a few brewskis while sitting on the porch.
Yeah, but no, these fucking dinks get in their goddamn way again.
It's like there's plenty of other dinks you could point out. Not just me, but whatever.
That's good.
They got me.
That's funny.
Yeah, so anyway, I've been over the last few weeks, it's been yeah, man, baby.
It's really funny because there's a lot of pragmatic reasons for wanting to delay it too. Oh, I don't feel ready. Or oh, I'm not sure if I could raise a kid. Or oh, we're both working a lot right now. It's kind of difficult to find time to do that. Or hey, we both have emotional or mental struggles that make it really difficult to imagine raising a child while we are still trying to grow up and mature ourselves.
Yeah.
There are plenty of reasons. Yeah. People are dude, just boink it. Just fucking cream pie. Just fucking give her the old Mary cream pie.
You know how sometimes when you're having sex and you pull out, just don't do that.
Yeah. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, where Onan spills his seed on the ground,
God smitten him.
Don't fucking do it. Don't be Onan. I swear to God, if I hear you and I hear the name Onan and Dink together in the same sentence, I'm gonna fucking blow a goddamn gasket.
Jesus. But yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like suffering.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of weight. It's a burden. It's a pressure.
Here's the thing, right?
Maybe the goblin in your dream that was above you is representative of your cousin, and they're ooga booga goblins, and you're like, fuck you, I'm going to take you out, but it hits the lamp. And the lamp, I'm going to take you out because you're putting pressure on me up there. See you fucking standing up there, you little goblin.
I already got wounds.
Yeah, and then you throw it, and then it hits the lamp, the baby, the sun, representative of the baby son, Teletubbies. Baby in the sun, you hit the baby in the sun, the face in the sun, comes back at you, injures you. 2 wounds, 1 wound for you, 1 wound for your wife. The pressure, it's representative of the pressure on you. That's what it is.
That's why dreams
solved it out. Thank you.
I
am a
I was
therapist.
ready for you to hit the button.
Yeah. You can reach out to me at rovingslant@gmail.com.
Oh yeah, do we get an email?
Check our emails.
I'll do it right now.
I want to go to 1:30. Hour 30.
I agree. Oh yeah, dude, we got one.
Dude, do we? Do we actually or no?
Yeah. Spotify for podcasters.
Oh fuck yes, dude! Please read it.
Dude, they updated the tools to build up your fan base. Yes.
Finally. Actually, we gotta have some closing thoughts. There's gotta be something.
No, but I was trying to think. There's something else. I like how fast we just kind of immediately dropped that bit.
We just.
As soon as I came back, he's like, yeah. So, anyways, final thoughts.
Yeah, just give me whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think. There's something else that happened. Oh, we went to a wedding. Me and my wife. I went to my wife's side family wedding. It was interesting. You know, I I always tell my wife, I'm like, hey, I know I'm going to see someone that I know here. And what do you know? There's a guy that I literally, like, I get money from him. He's a manager of my account at a place that I work.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
What a small world.
Yeah, it is.
It's only bigger if you have children, Sam.
My world's going to be huge. No.
My girlfriend keeps joking that I'm gonna like leave her for like some boho girl named Leaf, and we're gonna live in the woods and have a brood of children just endlessly. Yeah. It's like she's gonna go find her like Irish like forest daddy that she's looking for. Not because she wants to live in the woods, she just finds the Irish thing attractive. Yeah. I'm gonna find some like breedable woman. We're gonna have so many kids.
Just ripe.
Yeah, just ripe, ready. She's like a flower, ready to be pollinated incessantly, back to back. Oh my god!
You see it. You're like,
yeah,
that looks breedable.
Yeah, I'll just sniff it out. I'll be doing maintenance in the building, and then I'm like, I get a whiff of something, and I perch up.
She's like just outside the office climbing a tree. And
yeah. She's got like some fashion of dreads going on and like sandals. She like looks at me and she gets the smell too, and then she like sticks her ass out. She like arches her back to like incentivize it. I see them jiggle in motion.
You just like howl and like sprint up the tree.
The like apartment buildings over there. Some guy's like on his porch with his kid and he like covers his kid's eyes. I'm like clapping her ass. Oh my god. We run off into the woods. She has like such a donk clap as we walk. Oh my god.
You come out of the woods like months later and she has like 3 kids. Yeah, triplets.
Somebody like asks for the phone and they're like, we've been trying to get a hold of your maintenance man for like a while now. And then they go and knock on my door and I have like a whole family inside. I'm like, she's like nursing, like breastfeeding like all 3 of them.
She's got 3 tits now. Yeah.
She developed a 3rd tit in order to accommodate the 3rd child. And I'm just like, ooh, and they're like, I need my electrical outlet fixed. And I'm like,
just grab like a screwdriver off the wall and like walk in like.
Yeah, I kiss my wife goodbye before I go. Oh my god.
Leave.
Yeah. I love the like nature sound of it.
That's her whole name.
Yeah.
Just Leaf.
My name is like bear spirit or something. or rabbit fucker.
No, okay.
Because of how like much in heat I am. Like he has a lot of children, we will call him rabbit fucker. And then some kid he holds his finger up and he asks the shaman, he's like, do you think that like implies that he like has sex with rabbits? And the shaman's like, my will is absolute. We will call him a rabbit fucker. And he's like, okay, we want to make sure. It just kind of sounds like he wants to fuck rabbits. It sounds kind of weird. It's like, no, his spirit is representative of the rabbit. And thus, he fucks like a rabbit. Rabbit fucker. It's like, okay, I just want to...
What shaman is this?
It's just like the leader of the tribe.
Yeah. See, now you have a tribe in here.
It's my landlord.
He's just like, you're like banging on the drums and the shaman comes
He's
out.
burning sage.
Yeah.
Like gives me he's like, I bestow upon you maintenance man. I'm like,
Jade like just like walks in, like goes like, hey, and just like goes to her like her office.
She's like, I'm gonna go paint. She like puts on her headphones. She like locks the door. Then all of a sudden she hears like rhythmic. She's like, the next one, god damn it.
Another 4 kids. Every time it's like triplets.
I'm like, she's so fertile and my sperm is so strong. And that like my body instinctually detects that the world is like suffering from like sterilization and birth declines from like COVID vaccinations.
It's because you never had the fluoride. Yeah,
because I need to make up for it. So my balls are literally like, they're like, there's like the essence is like the DNA jumbling up, and it's like, we detect based on our sensory input that you need to have tons of children, and thus your testosterone is the only thing that can repopulate the earth with leaf.
As like time goes on, scientists study you, and they find out because you've been sunning your balls so much.
Yeah.
They find out that testicles have been solar powered the entire time.
That's true.
And they could have told us everything.
Ourselves, yeah.
Yeah.
In man's hubris, we haven't encountered the fact that, we need to suntan our balls.
Exactly.
Basically. And then they go to my office and they like study it, like cave painting. Like I have cave drawings and stuff
of you, like.
But they like see the way it's set up, and they notice that like there's a gap in like my window where like I have a bunch of mirrors set up, and it literally just like goes all the way down the hallway, and it reflects light from underneath straight to my balls where I sit in my desk. So like I'm sitting here like doing work or whatever, and it's just sunning my balls consistently for hours. They look at my balls, they're like black. They're like, this is the true cultivated essence of what man should be.
Oh, wow.
But because he ooga boogas in a different way, a less holistically way, disconnected from the nature of self, his balls are not black.
Excellent. Damn. That's poetry, dude.
Yeah, man, I think we have a couple of things here that we can do Minecraft animations for.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah,
I think that whole section. This is the problem. We need to like cut it down.
Yeah.
60 seconds.
Dude, people don't have attention spans anymore.
I know.
So we need to cut it down. Minecraft footage, free background music.
Yep.
From Kevin MacLeod.
Sure.
He does everything.
Okay.
I'll play some bongos, my fingers, get a little bit of the natural essence in there, and then we'll do the Minecraft animation.
I think the part where you said, you find leaf in a tree. I think that's where you start it. And then like where you have triplets, that's we kind of cut it up a little bit, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And I think people that's where look the new subscribers hit the bell.
Yeah, hit the bell, subscribe.
Like
Sam is literally bankrolling our Minecraft animations. I know you don't have the attention span to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm looking. I'm looking at myself on the screen, but
I try to look. Yeah, so like I try to look at that, but like if you angle it, you might have scared them off.
I think so. I think they're running
in the last like 20 seconds.
It's fine.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't think so, dude.
Do I have anything else I want to say?
Dude, you know what? This podcast, I was having a pretty crummy day. I got like 5 hours of sleep, and then like woke up, did nothing at work. I felt my brain hemorrhaging blood. And then I came here, I ate a sandwich, drank my microplastics, and now I feel better.
Yeah, that's all
so
it
thank
took.
you.
Yeah, you finally got back into your routine.
I'm like, wait a second, there's my brain.
Yeah,
there it is.
Wait, I'm here. I'm alive.
Peekaboo, the child is within me.
Honestly, I think that's a great end. I got nothing else I want to say. I'll save whatever for next time.
I'm good, dude.
Next time, we're going to be talking about wisdom, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, you got to practice what you preach. That's what we're going to be doing here.
Wisdom like a druid.
If you have any questions,
it's D&D.
To either me, my multiple personas of the systems caveman manager, or you want to give pressure to Sam about having a child,
please
send it our way.
Thank you.
Anything. You let us know.
Yeah.